All right, guys, I am going to review our labeling of the plot diagram. So first, we start at the very beginning where we put our exposition. And let's make that easier to read. All right. And remember, exposition is what we learn at the beginning. Whoa, way too many ends. Of the story. So any information, and look at me, I can't spell. Any information we learn at the beginning of the story, such as characters, setting, any background info that we think is important to the story. All right, and next we move to inciting incident. And y'all know me, I'm always on y'all about inciting incident. And if we review, inciting incident is the moment the story's action occurs, meaning the action really begins. We see an introduction of the conflict, and our character is figuring out what to do next. All right. So, what I like you guys to do next is to identify conflict. And conflict is simply the story's problem. What is up with the story and what is going on? And remember, our conflict, our problem, will always, always, always lead to our tough question. And so let's make that a little easier to read. All right, and so when you guys see me put TQ, that means tough question. And we're looking at what internal and important question is our character asking themselves. So not every question is important, but just how are the characters figuring out the conflict, and what tough question will they encounter or will they ask themselves? All right, so next we move over to the side of our story mountain, as you might have heard it called before, and this is our rising action. All right, and we know that these are the events that unfold after the exposition, build tension, and lead to the climax. So we are looking at all the things that happen before we see that big change, big turning point within our story. Now, something I do ask you guys to include in rising action would be our AA, which is again and agains, or our WW, which are words of the wiser. Those are our signposts. If you can't remember what those are, then you might need to go back in your notebooks. All right, so looking at both of those things before we make it all the way up here to our climax. Now, climax, every time I hear you mention turning point, there is a word I want you to use instead, and that will be in the next video.